Dude, what is up with giant foreheads, man? Who do you think has a bigger one?
Daddy. I think mine's wider, but yours is longer.
Which one's shinier?
Well, I'm particularly shiny right now. It's quite hot out. Yeah,
Dude,
big
it looks like it's completely different worlds right now. Like it's fucking getting pretty cold here. It gets darker way sooner. It looks like it's the afternoon for you right now.
Ibiza's had a weird year weather-wise. So August was quite shit. It was quite cloudy. And then September's gone towards the back end of September. It's like it's got sunny and hot again. It's really strange, really, really strange. But it's the apocalypse. God's judgment is coming. Repent your sins.
Yeah, I'm trying not to let just something as simple as the weather change dictate how I feel. But I just I don't want to move around. I don't want to go outside. I can move around. I just don't want to go outside, man.
It's tough. It's tough. I mean, I'm looking at going back to the UK. And I'm like, I know that for the first 2 weeks, I will love that. I know where everything is. I can get what I want. I can see my mates. I know exactly where everything is. So it's my control fantasy around Liverpool and the world. Whatever you want, I could probably get a hold of it. Whereas here, it's hard to get things. And that joy lasts typically about 2 to 3 weeks. And then I'm like, fuck, it's grey. Fuck, it's so grey.
But why is it just like the color of the world? Why does that affect so much? It's like I should be able to just do the same routine, to do the same things with the same momentum, the same will. But it's just the change of that. He's like, I don't want to go outside anymore.
Yeah. Well, we've got natural rhythms, but I don't know. I don't know whether life was supposed to. I don't want to get too deep on that one, but that far in Northern Europe, I don't know whether life was supposed to flourish there or not, because for sure life is easier. Just a few. Well, for us flying, it's a few hours south. For them, a couple of months on a donkey or something, and you can go to climates that are just. Food grows easier down here. You can fall asleep outside and not freeze to death. Like, it's just a better idea to be closer to the Mediterranean in Europe. In Europe, I would say.
Yeah, like what do you even do up there? Besides have a thriving economy.
Yeah, you work really hard and you change color and you become a bit weird. You didn't. I had to say it because the tension was building, so I had to say it. We all know we're not going to talk about that, but yeah.
So what have you been up to, man? I haven't even really talked to you in the last few days, and we skipped the last podcast. So,
well, it looks like I'm in the sort of the tail end of that period of personal turbulence, which is a relief. Not completely done, still little bits and pieces coming here and there, but. I'm sort of doing the opposite of the seasons. I feel like I've been in winter mode and therefore not really wanting to talk to people, not wanting to go out. And then I'm back to my brain naturally goes now to what should I do next with Spartan Life Coach? What should I be doing with my social media? What part do I have in this conversation here and there? Which feels to me like I'm unconsciously moving back outside again. I'm ready to go out again.
Any answers there? Do you know what to do with it?
Yes, I do. I mean, we've discussed things in the past privately about what I should be doing, and I, not wanting to sound grandiose, but I do have a bit of a positioning problem. So most people are like, you probably should have a larger following than you do. Yeah. It sounds really fucking grandiose. It's like,
but it's true. I say that to you all the time.
But the problem is there's a specific, I can't even remember which modality of narcissist. It might be covert narcissists have this fantasy that everything would be okay if only people would listen to me. You know, so I'm really conscious of that. But generally speaking, I look at other content creators out there and I'm like, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So I should have a better following. So I will be, it's me. You have to obey the beast. You have to do what the system wants. So I have to behave more professionally, release content in a more regular way. We'll have to follow the rules.
Or you do. We'll talk about it behind the scenes, but
okay.
But perhaps the other option is to do what separates you. That's not so clean.
Well, the thing is, like, what I'm seeing an uptick for, and I know that this sounds like shop talk, but it's relevant to the topic of today. And the people who watch us here, they're most of them are following us elsewhere anyway. So on the philosophy channel, talking about like the breakdown of civilization plus my own personal breakdown gets a lot of attention.
Yeah, I'm really impressed actually how much reception it's getting.
It's done so well, and all, you know, all credit for Pierre with that one, because the concepts are largely Pierre's, the editing is Pierre's, the titles and the thumbnails are. On the main channel where I said, oh, I'm trapped in narcissism, I can only talk about narcissism there. That's not true. I released a video on it was this titled something like what you should do if you feel out of step with this culture, and it's actually got far more views and watched for a longer duration of time, which is important in YouTube algorithmic sense, than any of my recent videos on narcissism and CPTSD. So what I want to do, that I'm like, I want to do this, but nobody will let me. It's like, that's actually just not true.
Oh, it's true. It's true. Again, I think our experiences semi-reflect each other's, because I posted that 38-minute fucking like not edited video just talking about straight on what's been going on in my life since the world flipped upside down, and it's done way better than any other video that I've like talked about a current event or some other fucking hyper edited, hyper produced thing. It's like, it seems like at this stage people just want to hear, I mean, just a little insight on another subjective experience of how crazy the world's been getting.
So sometimes in the marketing sense, in the marketing world, I like to flip things on their head when I'm confused with the wood for the trees, and I'm like, well, Richard, you are also a consumer. What are you doing right now? And the one person I watch regularly on YouTube is Jay Williamson. It's called Jay Williamson Let's Live Life, and it's the experiences of the true stories of a white guy who spent many years in the Virginia prison system, which is not, it's like 90% black, and how he got on there, the stories of what happened in there, what happens to the people in there. And I'm like, why am I even listening to this? I'm like, well, I don't want politics anymore. I don't want to be told what to think. I've not had this experience, but it's interesting to me. And I just want to hear his story. I don't want to be yelled at. I don't want to be told off. And he just seems like a regular chap. You know, you could probably sit and have a drink with him and not be told off for, I don't know, some microaggression or something. And so I literally have to listen to an ex-con talk about why somebody got stabbed because they robbed somebody else's toothpaste, but it wasn't about the toothpaste, it was about the disrespect. And I'm in there. I'm in this story. He's a great storyteller.
The irony of trying to find truth from an ex-con in the world that we live in now. Like, there's so much crap, there's so much bullshit, there's so many facades, that the only place you can find a bit of truth was from a person who lied for a living.
Right. And was openly a criminal, you know, would have ticked all the boxes for psychopathy. He was done for theft, drug dealing, violent crime, so on and so forth. Plus he did stuff inside that he got charged for. I mean, and I'm just like, no, yeah, I'll listen to this guy, because I don't, what is it? I just stop fucking lying to me, everyone. I'm sick of it. I'm fucking sick of it. Like, I don't want to watch your video on narcissism and then be sold some fucking bullshit, not necessarily like a product, but a line of reasoning or some political thing. I'm just like, oh God, please leave me be. Don't invade me anymore. Just let me listen.
Right.
Just make my decisions.
What seems to be happening on YouTube is that it's becoming like a podcast platform. I mean, we're speaking on what we particularly watch in general, but even overall, it's like, even like in the youthful, trendy millennial Gen Z circles, one of the biggest channels that are, you know, still alive is the H3H3 podcast, which is full of drama and a bunch of nonsense too. But even that is a thing, and it seems like most people just use YouTube as like a most long form listening platform, because no one really sits there to watch a thing anymore.
I
That's
never
more for
do.
TikTok, right?
I never do. Yes, TikTok I will. Well, TikTok and Instagram forces you to watch. I don't watch YouTube. I'm not sat looking at Jay Williamson telling the story. That would really confuse me. I'm doing the dishes or something I don't particularly want to do. I'm listening to that to ease the process, and I'm having pleasant dissociation, imagining the I want to be taken into a different world. So yeah, I'm listening. It is. You're right. It's oddly enough, it's become whatever Spotify was trying to be or iTunes was trying to be.
Right. Speaking of which, I'm making a short film. And I'm not, the thing is, I'm not expecting, I don't know. I'm practicing this idea of, well, I'll just tie in the title somehow, the coercion of will. I'm trying to tie in just willing myself to do certain things because for the sake of the actual doing, you know, where I've distanced myself so much at this stage from the social media world that I'm pretty distant from the idea of expecting results.
Right.
That now this thing is not for YouTube. I'm just going to post it on YouTube. You know what I mean? And it's a very different way of approaching work and art in general.
There is the reason why I titled, I think I did the title today, didn't I? It's Black Magic, Coercion of Will and a New Order. There's a lot here, but to start off with, the practice of artistry and creation now will require the development of an iron will. Because you are not going to be permitted to simply create. That, in fact, not you are not going to be. You are not permitted to simply create. So if you want to be natural, or you want to be creative, or you want to be spontaneous, or you want to be feminine, or you want to be masculine, you must now do it in defiance of. Everything is in defiance of. We just all have to be tougher. But where, like, do you want to go to the gym and build muscles? Yeah, okay, well, that will develop you mentally, but it's your will that you must develop. It's your will. And there was this whole philosophy that grew sort of after, like, a little bit after Nietzsche and Wittgenstein and people like him, that was all focused in the 1900s, particularly in America, in the New Thought movement, it was called, and it was about just the pure cultivation of will. And if you strip everything away, and you just think, how do I cultivate? First of all, what is will? How necessary is it? And then how do I cultivate it? You can become a really, really powerful person. But in this culture, everything is trying to drain your will. Everything is trying to just fucking drain that will out of you.
I hadn't like formally thought about this particular concept until I read that title about like 20 minutes before. And I really like it because it feels as if all the narratives that are surrounding us are coercing us to lose our will. Like and in the most literal sense too of, you know, you have a TikTok algorithm or a YouTube algorithm. You don't choose it anymore. You don't choose what videos to watch. They give it to you.
Yeah.
That was great for a while. Still kind of cool sometimes. But little by little, it's removing your idea of choice because you're not choosing what you want to watch anymore. It's just here. And we're like, oh, great. I don't have to choose here.
And the looser, as you are penetrated repeatedly that way, and you're never producing yourself, you're never penetrating, you're becoming more and more yin, which is, yin is fine, but it needs yang. And if we're not yang, we're just yin, yin, yin. And we're like a flaccid, overused sphincter that doesn't even have to do anything. It just stays open. Just gape and just take it. And that's it. Just gape and take it. Just take it. And that's the opposite of will. That's just that all we are is the recipient of other people's will. But whether on TikTok, as an example, and maybe on all social media, we are the recipient of other people's toxic will. We're the recipient of their affected will. And it's all homogenized. We're the idiots who are coercing each other. We are becoming like some Japanese monster that gets together and becomes like the idiotatron. We all just like combine and become this huge Godzilla idiot. and we're coercing each other. Everything is homogenized. That's why the sense of humor is this way, and the memes are this way. This is funny. This kind of sassy, like, level of humor is the only humor that's valid. Everything has to, be conveyed inside of 15. All of this shit is us. We're coercing ourselves with the AI has sort of smoothed off the edges of it, so that we're all just one shiny little bauble gaping anus thing.
Yeah, and it's like a lot of metaphors there. A lot of very sexy metaphors. Yes, good ones. And the thing is, the approval or the validation of ideas are now literal. Yeah. Like if you post something and the collective hive mind agrees, no, we only laugh at this. You can't sit here. It's literalized now, meaning like maybe before it would only be the extent of like your local, for example, you play like some new music at a local pub, and then you have a trendy bunch that could be literally like 10 people, 15 people, but that trendy bunch may dictate the rest. And they allow a space for that newness to be accepted, right? But if you're making some sort of music, you don't play it at a local pub anymore. You post it to TikTok or YouTube, and you don't have the validation of the small trendy bunch. You just have the giant idiotron monster choosing immediately, like, fuck this. We only listen to this.
What you just described immediately makes me think of The Cure. Like how would a group like The Cure get a foothold without that small trendy bunch or that small group of outsiders, multiple small groups of outsiders, giving them footholds in different pockets, firstly across the towns of the United Kingdom, and then further afield. I mean, I meet people here in Spain. I met a taxi driver who's a Cure nutcase. He absolutely loves The Cure. He goes to every live concert they do every month and so on and so forth, pre-pandemic. How would something so... and The Cure's great music. I've never played anybody The Cure and had them say, this is fucking bullshit. Maybe because I'm staring at that going, you better fucking like this, bitch. But, I just look at The Cure, the concept and the sound and everything, and I'm like, how... would that flourish today? Would that get past today? Or would they want to auto-tune it and have, I don't know, Drake rap in the middle of it?
Right.
Some shit. Because there's not much with The Cure. There's not much you taught me this, to listen to the volume and how much is going on. There's not much going on there. It's quite sparse.
It's quite minimal sounding. And we are now reversing artistry to where it was before. They make the stuff and people come to them. And now it's like we immediately put out stuff for them first. For example, like if you want to metaphoricalize it in like a cafe, right? I mean, it makes a lot more sense, and it's a lot more obvious when you visualize a trendy cafe. And there's tons of them around Prague. But when it's so visual and the designs are in your face, it's so easy to see this cafe is kitschy as hell. It's so try hard. It's purposely trying to get you to spend your money. You can smell it from a fucking distance because of this sale sign or, this forced trendy little vase or some bullshit. But then you go to some places that are like, dude, this is original. Like there's no bar or no cafe that looks like this. And that naturally makes you want to bring other people to this. And then that cycle kind of happens where culturally the landscape is that shitty, kitschy cafe, everything on sale that doesn't put any quality to whatever. And everybody's okay with that.
Yes. It is. It's strange how that has cycled around. It immediately makes me think of the bars in the 90s. And the thing in the 80s and 90s was destroy all the old pubs and turn them into wine bars. And everybody was like, yeah, that's good. Make it all clean and nice and chrome and glass and light. And now everybody's like, God, give me, like, if I go back to some old pub or some old club with some real history in it. I even thought if I was going to do like, some people, they do like a mini series or a documentary. I was like, I would love to go to like biker bars across America and just go in there. Like, but I only want to go to the really fucking old, dingy ones that have been there for a long time, where the dirt is in that you could never get the dirt out the floor. You can never get the stink out the fucking walls.
Yeah.
Something about it's different. Whilst I'm thinking about biker bars, that reminded me of David Lynch. I just want to drop in this thing about black magic, because I think there's a lack of clarity with black magic. Coercion of will and black magic should be synonymous in everybody's minds. If you're doing magic to make your life better and the lives of all of humanity better, that is not black magic. Even if you do it accidentally, as soon as you infringe on somebody else's will, that magic becomes black. That is black magic, and it will hurt you. The reason why I mention that is just to make sure that I maintain in my head the thread. This social media coercion of will that we're talking about is black magic en masse. Yeah. It's black magic en masse.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I would completely agree. And oh man, I think I was having a discussion with a friend too. It's like, how did it get to a point, and what does this mean when someone is obviously exercising their own will and that offends somebody? Right. Like, where has it gone when, for example, you follow somebody and they do something or speak in a certain way or listen to a band that you wouldn't expect them to do, and then you go, what does that mean? What does that show? I mean, that represents something that's really crazy and a total shift, where before, I don't think it was that to that extent. Okay, it would be great. It would be one thing if you found out your uncle was a fucking convicted whatever. But if a person is like, I didn't expect you to play tennis.
Yeah.
Done. You know, what?
I'm out. Going back to the biker thing, when I was a kid, because of the bars that we used to sneak into when we were kids, we eventually managed to make friends with some bikers, and we got them. I went to quite a nice private school, and it was the boys' school was one side and the girls' school was the other side. We convinced these bikers to set up a venture scout meeting, because if we pretended we were venture scouts, we could meet up with them, we could go drinking with them, we could go camping with them, and all the rest of it. So we would go to these biker conventions and stuff. We were a bunch of private school kids, and they just let us go. They just let us come with them. We weren't on bikes. We would go in a big van. Then sometimes they carry the bikes with it. And I had really, really positive experience. Really, generally speaking, it was good. Even if there was like Hell's Angels there, whatever else, it was good. It was a good vibe. It was always super friendly. But like you're saying, at that time, you did have people in slots. And if they went outside the slot, there would be a problem. But not like now. Now it is a crime. Yeah. But only because we all, or the universal, or the community agrees that it's unacceptable for, if you're a gangster rapper, you can't play tennis. Or if you're a Hell's Angel biker, you can't do, I don't know, fucking origami or something. Yeah. And it's offensive. Yes. And there's an urgency to stopping you. Like, no. Right. Yeah. That's just no. Motherfucker, it's got nothing to do with you. Right. Stay in your lane. It's nothing to do with you. If that's what a human being likes to do, for whatever reason, stay the fuck away from them. The coercion of that, I would say, it's not black magic, but it's certainly it's certainly the beginning of something very, very evil.
So I have an idea. Everyone feels like they own everything because we all live in our pods now with the algorithm giving us what we want at all times. It knows us better than we know ourselves. And then we own the smartphone. We own the computer. Therefore, we own our own algorithm, and we own the content that we choose to see. And visually, it seems as though it is choice, and it gives the illusion of us using our will to get that control, when actually it's the complete opposite. It's the complete lack of will because we don't control these things. It's the algorithm that gives us the illusion that we want to see the puppy videos only or the tennis videos only. That is just forced on us. but our mind rationalizes like, oh, I chose that, therefore I own this, and I own that, and I own that. And imagine years and years and years and years of this conditioning, constantly getting what you apparently own. The people on the screen, us, our faces on people's phones, they think unconsciously that they own us.
Yes.
Because if you want to look at it like petty, shitty YouTube comments and stuff, because I always bring that up. At what point did someone get the idea that you can just type out, hey, your hair could be moved like this next time? And when maybe you shouldn't cuss so much, and that's implying ownership of what a fucking person wants to do. Where did you get that?
I fucking love how angry you get about this.
No, it's
one of my small petty pleasures in life.
It's much
Pierre rant about this.
It's much better these days. I'm a little better, but still that definitely gets under my fucking skin, because that implies ownership. Like at what point? At what point did that happen?
It does. There's definitely an entitlement issue there, but the previous point you made was interesting. I thought, yes, we have these people on our phones and they're in our hands, so we think we're manipulating them. I can swipe you away, I can make you bigger, I can make you smaller, I can speed you up, slow you down. I'm the puppet master. Meanwhile, somebody else has got their hand deep up your ass. You're like, oh, I'm the puppet master. Yeah, are you? And what's up your ass right now, my friend? While somebody's like that, oh, I'm the puppet master. You're not even the one saying it, you fuck. Right. So there is something quite tragic about this. There is like that level of entitled, spoiled, demanding, narcissistic bullying. Everybody's become like a little King Joffrey in Game of Thrones, little King Joffrey, a little bully, because it's not the way I want it, and I want the manager, and I want you deplatformed. Why do you want to hurt somebody's life and the way they make money? Because they made me feel bad for about 30 seconds, and that's the fitting punishment. Off with his head, boil him alive. It's like, you'll deal with him. You will fucking get over it. You'll cope with this pain. But it's go on, sorry.
Like, think about this. Since we're talking about the Cure, they blew the fuck up in the late 80s, as well as Bowie, Prince, and Michael Jackson, and all these guys. And you know what they all had in common? They didn't have a bunch of fucking internet trolls, these idiots trying to manipulate every tiny little artistic choice that they fucking do all the time. So that being said, though, can you imagine, like, back then in the late 80s, we look at the Cure, Prince, and then somebody going, I would prefer if Robert Smith didn't tease his hair that much, and then actually think that they have the ability to change Prince's hair or to change Robert Smith's fucking guitar. Yes. You know, that shows a big difference, because now that's what happens. People comment on any artistic or anybody's anything, and they say, this is what I would do as you.
But if you were a weak, cowardly, impotent piece of shit, you would do that too. Like, so would I, because I don't have anything else. That's all I have is like, it's like, I don't know, a prisoner sticking their finger through a hole in the wall trying to get sunlight. That's the only part of my body.
Well, let me tell you, man, that finger's been up for a while, and it feels really good to take it out, bruh. It's a very uncomfortable sensation, and it's so fucking degrading. It's so humiliating, because like, you look back in the 80s, did they have to deal with this specific directness in terms of audience demand and pleasing them? And you know, obviously there's problems with like record labels. That's probably the closest thing to that back then. But now it's like, you have to appease the audience finger up rectum all times. And you also have the direct reception of the algorithm and the numbers, and they're always telling you that you need to have the finger up there or it's not going to work. You need the finger.
Just a moment to say, because you mentioned I did a bit of a Prince binge a few days back and watched him performing live and talking to the audience and having the audience sing and everything else. Fucking hell, he was amazing. Prince,
oh my God. Yeah,
It's just so
it's
fucking
insane.
like talent. I'm
Yeah.
looking at. I'm just going. Somebody just put talent in this in this little dude's body. Just filled it, and then went. We can get more. Just shove some more in this fucking dude. Amazing. What and so fucking charismatic. So he's like he's got that Bruce Lee presence. When he speaks, you listen. When he makes a gesture with his face, you look. You're looking at him. He just pulls eyes to him. But that a lot of that has gone because it wouldn't be rewarded now anyway. I don't know. It's probably toxically masculine or ruining some other fucking rule.
Okay, so look at that. Think about this, right? So you're watching old Prince videos, and whether it be Bruce Lee, even Michael Jackson, and whatever Bowie and stuff.
Yeah.
So you see, like, but specifically, let's go with Prince to simplify it. If you look at how he plays guitar and his dance moves and the scream, like the that's not to please you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It comes from a place that's not like, oh, I'm gonna make you like me. I'm gonna make the audience. I'm gonna please the. No, it's like, like in your face. He's like jerking off the guitar.
Yeah.
You know, he's like fucking doing these splits and shit, but it's forceful. And if that happened now, people would feel violated, and that's what he wanted. You know, and that's what worked back then. Where now, I don't know if that same thing would apply.
I just don't think you would be permitted to do it. It's all too phallic. It's all too yang. Madonna, back then, pretty yang in the performances. I think of Hole, Courtney Love's band. I mean, that was yang as fuck. That was angry, ugly, trash, and I liked it. I thought it sounded great.
Yeah.
There's one of the albums I used to listen to a lot. But even the lyrics now, you just couldn't. When I was a teenage whore, that's problematic. that's gonna. But weirdly enough, that's problematic. But a girl saying, well, some of the fucking crazy shit. It's weird. Like the rules have just gone like this in this really, really strange direction that's hard to follow. And I think that's part of it. It's quite stressful to figure out where the lines are. Right. So I can say this, but I can't say that. Why? Where's the book? Show me the 10 commandments of what is the right and wrong thing to be able to say. But you're right. It's a talent crushing environment now because there's just too much criticism. But to turn this on its head, what if the opposite were true? Is it a pandemic of narcissistic bullying, or is it a pandemic of codependency? We shouldn't be reading this shit. No politician should be reading their Twitter comments. The idea that, like, the fucking president of the United States of America would be aware of what somebody said on their YouTube comments bothers me greatly. No great artist, nobody in a position of power, nobody who wants to create. We must stop because it's masturbatory. It's really tempting to do it, but we have to stop. We can't listen to that shit.
Well, okay, think about this, right? So you said the coercion of will and black magic are synonymous.
Yes.
When people are on Twitter and YouTube comments, most of the time, 90% of the time, they are trying to change the will of someone else.
Yes.
Your opinion is wrong. You
Yes.
are incorrect. You should not look like this. Yes. It's a mirror of black magic that's literally a device just for a lot of people to use to impose their will on others.
So we're all a bunch of horrible, nasty, bratty, cunty little Harry Potters. But instead of wands, we have mobile phones, cell phones. We have the John Dee's Black Mirror, and we're just sending out spells all day. But spells to do what? Change that. Do that differently. I'm not happy. This upsets me. And they fill the fucking world with that shit. And then it all rains back down on us like toxic waste. And everybody's like, oh, this isn't fun.
Imagine like you have the ability to hold a wand out in Hogwarts and you just used it to nag.
Nagamalotum.
Nagamalotum. Dude, it's just like, what are you doing with? I mean, anyways, yeah, like no, you're completely right, man. And why does it reward this? You know what I mean?
Because in all the old myths, We said something last time about betrayal. Like if you betray someone who's close to you, that's like the sweetest
Yeah.
use of evil.
Yeah.
But in all the old myths, aren't the baddies like the bad evil empress, evil priestess, the one who eats babies, and the bad old wizard? They're kind of, there's always the overtone of them being pleasure addicted,
Yeah.
sadists who
Right.
are pleasure addicted, who but they're addicts as well, and it corrupts. That's why, like the Emperor in Star Wars, his face is fallen, or Gollum is shouldn't look like that. He should look like a happy little fisherman, but he's become this thing, this toothless crack addict thing, because the pleasure of this black magic, this dark magic, this binding magic corrupts. I think you see that corrodes the will. That corrodes people. The fact that they're doing this shit and dogpiling people and getting behind the shield wall of a bunch of other cunts helping them with their cuntery will corrupt them. It will break their will.
Because I read your title and I only had 25 minutes to think about it, but I think you're really, really onto something. I thought about both of our experiences in the last like 4 months, and in specific mine here. I think it was a problem of lack of will. I did not feel like I had any will over my own choices and my own life. I didn't realize how much of my own decisions and my trajectory was due and dedicated to the algorithmic matrix spider pod. And only until that whole thing broke down and I let go, I was like, oh my God, I was doing almost my physical appearance. This was posting here, is what I was thinking. It was all out of my own will. Sure, I was making the video, but the will of what video wasn't even fucking there. And I look back at the martial arts stuff, and without boring everybody about martial arts even further, it seems like it's the most will providing activity that I could ever find for me personally. It is just purely your own choice. It's intensive of the moment and almost dangerous how much will you have in those choices.
Interesting. Never framed it that way, but 100% that's what I got. Or one of the revelations I got from therapy is I took it as one of the reasons why I collapsed and had a breakdown was because I wasn't being honest, and I wasn't really being courageous enough. However, if you phrase it another way and say, okay, if you had more will, would that have happened? The answer would be absolutely not. It wouldn't have happened. My will was eroded. I cut corners. I did things that, I just wasn't making adult decisions. I just wasn't in an adult mindset. And I was like, this is gonna be okay. No, motherfucker, it's not. It's not gonna be okay. You're gonna get burned. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Like the Buddhists say, if you have good karma and you do a shitty thing, the result is instantaneous and extremely painful. If you have bad karma, it can take a long time for the negative to show up. But no, if I'd had more will, that wouldn't have happened. There's no way it would have happened.
And considering what has happened around the world and to people in general the last year or so, it was just an onslaught, a consecutive will breaking event after event after event. Like, how much more incidents can you see, can you be told to do that just robs you of your own control of your own life? And I think it's completely logical to believe that during those times, like they were like, literally, you can't go outside, and then we just had to be like, okay, I guess I won't go outside. You had to do this. So it's just a form of like mind rape. It's like, all your will is fucking gone. And I couldn't just live in those moments, just holding that lack of willpower at all. And it does not feel good to be powerless in those moments. And I think the temporary solution from what I've come is to find an avenue within your own life that allows you to impose all the will that you can. And as long as it doesn't involve others,
Well, maybe then, Visceral Gravitas is here, and he said infantile mindset. Did you go into an infantile mindset? And I'm doing transactional analysis psychotherapy. I've been going into what they call an ego state of, there are times in your life where you can be parent, adult, or child. If I brought my adult, this guy who sat here now, this one, everything would have been fine. He wasn't present at those events. The child was. But it's, as Pierre just said, it's been an infantilizing time. I'm not abrogating responsibility or blame. We're all at where we're at. We just do the best we can with what we've got. But even to the point of like, I had people even actually saying to me, like, the way you live is kind of boring and there's no risk taking. Don't you want to get back out there? So I did. I went and I drank again, and I was out and I was partying again, and I was chasing after girls again. And after like it's all calmed down, I'm like, what the fuck did I do that for? I've already done all that. I know where it takes me. I'm not that guy. I know what it does to me. Why would I go and do it again just to prove,
Will,
exactly.
it's an illusion of it. Those things give you the illusion that you chose to party, you chose to have a good time, you chose to chase the girls, and but it's an unconscious lack of will, if anything,
Yeah, it is. It's because, and this is where I don't want to make it sound more complicated than it is, but there's like an Adlerian point here where we do dumb shit sometimes to prove a point, which is there in transactional analysis and Burn as well, because he would say we're playing a game or fulfilling a script. What was the point I was trying to make? I can't listen to you fucks. I can't, because you don't know what you're doing. And this is what I'm coming out of this whole period with is, and when I say you fucks, I don't mean followers of Tentacle Croissant. I mean people. Like, my whole thing now is, you don't know what you're doing. Don't fucking tell me what to do. You don't know what you're doing. Don't advise me about my life, my love life, my health, my business. Fuck you. Sort yourself out. We're all becoming narcissistic there's a culture of narcissistic codependency where we think we belong with our tentacles and other people's shit.
Yes.
No, we don't. Leave me alone. Leave Pierre alone. Leave him alone, her alone. Mind your own fucking business. If we had that as the slogan globally for our now globalized culture, it would fix so much. Fix your own shit at home. Sort, like Jordan Peterson was saying, make your own damn bed. Sort your own fucking house out. Sort your own country out. Sort your own family out. Take care of your shit. Stop acting like you know how other people should live when you yourself are, whatever, like addicted to food or addicted to prescriptions or whatever the fuck people are doing. Nobody's perfect. Stop acting like you are. So my attitude is, in a way, has hardened on that one.
Yeah,
quite a lot.
Of course. Yeah, same. And I'm going to bring up another semi-vulgar metaphor as we usually do here.
Lovely.
That I guess it somewhat ties into the matrix of having like the tubes like stuck into you in the pod. But since you said tentacles, like the advent of the modern usage of social media, right?
Yeah.
It started off with maybe one tentacle on the arm just because it felt kind of good. Maybe you heard some woo acupuncture like fucking thing that is good for your blood if you just put a tentacle there. Just let it sit. And then you're like, actually, we can do a lot more. We can do it here. And you're like, and you just sit there. It's like, oh, it's not too bad. Yeah. Fast forward to the evolution of technology in the short time span, exponentially fucking triples, quadruples, quintillion or whatever. You have all of these tentacles being sucking the shit out of you, right? And it was supposed to make your life easier. It's supposed to be good for your blood flow.
Yeah.
Those tentacles, I do think that symbolizes people crossing boundaries.
Yes.
They're people's will of what they want you to be, of their ideas. They just start getting into you more and more.
Psychosomatically, the skin is the boundary psychosomatically. Right. So if you have problems with your skin, you have problems with your boundaries. You can touch me with my consent. You cannot dip your finger into the fucking bone, though.
Yes.
Nobody told you could do that.
Yes.
Nobody should do that to anyone.
Right.
Like there's no reason. Even if somebody is sick and says to you, please do that to me, you should politely and kindly refuse. You don't belong there. That's their body. And the metaphor, their body, their life, their karma, their dharma, their problems, they belong to that human being, not you.
Exactly. And the thing is, it's gotten so far that everybody has each other's tentacles stuck on them that it becomes the norm.
Yeah.
It becomes normalized, to use the
Yeah.
word, to
Yeah.
always have people in your business and you having awareness of their business.
Yes.
And it's offensive to pull the tentacles off because that tentacle won't breathe anymore. It can't survive if you rip the fucking thing off. It's been on you for years now. It needs to be there in order to live. And the thing is, none of those tentacles were supposed to be there in the fucking first place.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to be there. Your blood is your blood. Your skin is your skin. Mm-hmm. And we've completely lost fact of that notion.
This is where I would say, I was actually writing about this in a chapter of the book, and it came from a vision from when I was 18 years old. I took acid and I freaked the fuck out because I saw the God pan and blah, blah, blah. So I ran to a church and I was like, I need God, I need Jesus. And the church was talking to me with this church mouth. It was like, oh, it is not time for that, child. We went dark. We went back into primitive ancient civilizations. And I could see just screeds because with acid, it's echoey. So you get repeat of human beings touching hand, foot, spilling out, and their energy going across everybody. And there would be these movements, monsters in the deep, across the ripples of the human enmeshment. Now we have the internet. You have like a semi-literal, entangled, enmeshed family of humans traumatizing each other inside of each other's business. These are conscious leviathans in the deep. They can flow so much faster through a community than they ever could before. These are so-called online communities, the cyber communities. They travel at the speed of electricity now. They never used to before. You'd have to, the acid for me would always focus on language. You'd have to speak them into being. And I'd have to transmit it by telling you the shape and the size and the nature of the monster so you could pass the evil spirit on. There's no need for that now. We just have memes. Just pull out your phone and the monsters fly out.
I mean, there's a reason why incestual orgies aren't a thing. And I don't think
well,
they work.
They are, but there's a reason why they shouldn't be a thing.
But I mean, really think about it. Like, okay, when you go day to day, and considering if you're not under lockdown, you just have a normal fucking life, and you go to the grocery store, go to the restaurant, go to the gas station, how often do people get into your personal business? Very rarely, if not at all, unless you volunteer the information like strangers that I've met.
Yeah.
Right? But generally, you can go through a whole day, and most strangers, you'll probably get a, hey, how's it going? Here's your change. Oh, I would prefer the cappuccino. Oh, your cappuccino's great. And that's it. On it, you can go for years. You can go for months like that. You open your phone, and in 5 minutes, they know everything about everything that you've ever done while putting commentary, unsolicited commentary and advice on the stuff that you've done and the things that you are. And then their information's all floating out and you're just fucking in this weird psychosomatic orgy with strangers.
Fucking you in the armpit.
Yeah.
Fucking you in the elbow crease.
Yeah. And any place that's open now, you know?
Right, anything without permission. I didn't say you could rub your clit on my toe while this is happening.
Yeah. And, you know, I've been in this orgy for too long, man. You know?
I feel dirty. Feel stinky now.
And you don't you get to a point you forget that it's even happening, you know? You're just like on that stanky, like stained velvet couch while everyone's doing their business while you're like pulling out your phone to check stocks or some shit, you know? Like,
every tentacle question has this moment now. Every single one. When are they going to go porno? This is the moment. The couch, the Pierre XO, fucking ravaged by strangers checking his stonks while somebody's banging him like, nah.
This is like the longest, it's like the longest semi-unplugging unplugging that I've had in I mean almost it feels like forever, but you don't
Yeah.
realize how violating it
Yeah.
is until you're completely removed from it. And that's why I've kind of really taken a bigger step back in general, just because I just realized how bad it was in general.
There's two people who I really listened to on social media usage. One was Gabor Mate. He said this is self-harm and it's traumatizing. The other was Sam Vaknin, and he said this is humiliating.
Yeah.
Listen to the words. Social media usage is humiliating for everyone. You could have 20 million followers, you're still going to be humiliated. You shouldn't use something that you're not being paid for. Even you're the one who provides the meat and potatoes, the content, and you're being humiliated by it. It doesn't make sense to do that, but that is what we're all doing.
Yeah, I mean, just I think about just even in the most casual everyday sense of social media, you don't have to be like an influencer. You don't have to do what me and Richard do. When you post something on social media, man, it could be like a selfie. Like, and it's so normal to edit your face. I still do it sometimes, but that's already at baseline kind of humiliating.
Yeah,
I'm
it
gonna
is.
like
You're
edit my
telling yourself
pixels.
I'm
Yeah,
ugly.
yeah, I could look better, and I don't want to show my face until I fix it up a little bit. Baseline level, and that's fucking normalized now. Like, even I still love live streaming around the streets, but it is a little humiliating when you're holding a fucking selfie stick talking to the damn thing at a restaurant. You know what I mean? Like, the baseline fabric of this shit is just there's no what dignity. There's like no incessant value there.
There's a TV show that I think you're going to really like. I want to plug it. It's on Netflix. It's called Brand New Cherry Flavor, and it's based on a novel. I've not read the novel. I'm just midway through the TV show, and it's about black magic, Los Angeles, curses, and it is horror. If you watch this, it's horror,
What is
and
it
it has
called?
a brand new cherry flavor. Brand new cherry flavor, and it has body horror in they even mentioned David Cronenberg, but it has that kind of body horror. If you don't do well with that kind of body horror, don't watch it. It's going
Oh
to
no,
freak
I
you
can't.
out.
Oh, I can't watch this. No,
You
that's not me then.
must. There's not tons of it, and it's
Okay.
not excessive, but like you there are scenes where you probably will just be better off turning away from the screen. But
Okay.
even the themes of like interconnectedness, needing to penetrating people that you shouldn't be penetrating. And there is sex, there's a little bit of sex in it, but it's not really a show that's about sex, particularly in ritual magic, where things are taken from people, where things are injected into people, where people are being zombified to feed the needs of other human beings. Make no mistake. If you exploit another human being and you coerce their will, that is black magic. You are performing black magic. Make no mistake. Social media is encouraging us all en masse to perform black magic rituals. And now we will live with the consequences of that. We've got so much to clear up. We've got so fucking much to clean up now as a species, if we're going to have any chance whatsoever.
Yeah. And I think it's finally at that point where it's transpiring directly into real physical reality. Like, I tell you all these stories about people harassing me all the time, and it happens almost weekly. Like, it's fucked up now. And I don't know if that's a direct I'm sure it's a correlation of a lot of things in general with all the stuff happening. But I mean, just overall boundary crossing is inherent in social media. And I don't think it's just coincidence now that we've been stuck inside only watching this stuff, and then now we're outside and everybody's crossing boundaries.
Historically, witch burnings always come after a plague or a famine. So if you're identified as a witch or a witcher, you'll be targeted for sure. That's just the way it goes. People are angry, they need somebody to blame. Who's the shaman, the outsider, the witch, the wise man, the wise woman, the person who's doing tarot card readings? Get them. Why? Something bad happened. It must be down to someone. Someone must have done this.
Yeah. Have you seen the Hunger Games?
Yes, I think I was forced to watch all of those films. Yeah,
Did
there's
you
three,
like
right?
it? Yeah, because I liked it a lot personally.
I the parts of it I liked. There was some of it I liked. I actually even thought about reading the books. I thought maybe I get something from it. But the last one was like a conspiracy theorist, pizza. It was delicious. With the last one that I saw, it was the deliberate propagandizing of a population and confusing them between terrorists and state actors
Yeah.
deliberately to foster consent. I really, really liked some of the last one that came out.
How funny. I like the first two. The last one I couldn't hold on. I couldn't hold my focus. But like you, of course you're the one that loved the last one. And you probably didn't like the first two. How funny.
The thing is with like anything where I'm looking at good looking young Americans, I'm a bit like
And they saved the world.
Grr. Where's Jeffrey? Where's he's over there with Thomas? Oh, hi. What
Yeah.
was the werewolf and the vampire called?
Twilight. Yeah.
What was your choice? You were either on Team Edward or Team.
Bro, I just ignored that whole fucking face. It's why I didn't watch Hunger Games, because I thought it was a version of Twilight. Because like it was the same demographic that liked it. So I was like, fuck, I don't watch this shit.
Well, and it had the same core. They figured out like something for the young female reader, which was here is a choice between two men. One is dangerous and one is safe. And the whole theme that holds the sort of the late teen to early 20s female mind in totally entranced was like, who do you choose? Do you choose the vampire? Or do you choose the werewolf? Do you choose the... And
now,
I felt that with Hunger Games as well.
Richard, how come I can't write a novel or make a movie about me choosing between two girls?
Oh, fuck. Good luck.
One is dangerous and one is safe. What's wrong with that?
Let's make a fucking movie. Here we go. I got a fucking movie for you, kid.
Oh shit. Anyways,
yeah, made only with Russian and Czech mob money. That's what we'll do. We'll make it. It's called The Choice, starring Pierre.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? Anyways,
what's wrong with that?
Yeah, but there was a huge dystopian element to it, and it almost felt like the author was making the choices between the two as just like a marketing thing to get that audience, but like the actual underlying concept of having a dystopian city that holds annual, what do you call it, battles to the death between a chosen few, so there isn't war, was a really interesting idea, man.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool idea. I like her. I like that actress. I like her in real life. She seems like a complete nutcase. I really, really like her. I think she's awesome. Every interview I see with her, I'm like, what fucking mad thing is this girl gonna say next? So
yeah. I mean, where were we? There's the talk, the loss of will and stuff. Like, I think now that we're talking about movies and stuff like that in general, the last time that something was kind of just like shoved in your face and you just had to watch it if you wanted to was Joker. Nothing else is being made, or anything in general. Like, did you hear what happened in Survivor? The new season of Survivor came out. I just fucking guessed like what direction they took with Survivor.
I don't even know what Survivor is. I'm so disconnected.
I don't watch Survivor.
On an island?
Yes.
Okay.
And this is what they. I'll just give you one sentence, and you can infer the rest.
Okay.
Hello, guys. Welcome to the island. And I want to ask, is it fine if I call you guys?
Oh, fucking hell. I don't even want to say anything, because I feel like anything I say can and will be used against me in a court of law at a later date. So people are in a survival situation and they're being politically correct when they're making fires and eating fish guts.
Yeah. So apparently, if you're surviving alone on an island with a few others, one of the most important things to remember is pronouns.
Okay, sure. You wouldn't want to misgender that fish before you got it.
Yeah, so you have a bunch of people on this island that are, of this particular demographic here, and
Yeah.
they're juggling this, and like, I'm like, how the fuck on a show like Survivor are you gonna go this route with this show where people die from starvation, right? Because
Yeah.
imagine somebody like, please just take the last fish, and be like, and don't use that pronoun. Like somebody fucking dying.
Dude,
Like,
hand me the fucking. I'm gonna bleed to death, dude. Did you just call me dude? What the fuck? How fucking bleed, bitch? To bleed
die,
to death.
die.
I think like the ironic thing for me with that is I wonder, and maybe like somebody who understands psychoanalytic theory better than me could put this argument together, whether our obsession with masculine and feminine pronouns is some sort of compensatory gesture for the fact that we've lost our masculine and feminine polarity. So we've gone, no more, I'm not going to use my PP no more. You don't use your new no more. But that's private. Privately, men and women will just stop getting together and having sex because that's like sex crime now. But publicly, we're gonna obsess about masculinity and femininity linguistically, but physically we'll do nothing. I wonder if there's like a compensatory sort of thing that's happening.
What I don't understand here, I don't know if it's a compensatory, I can't say the word, but why each side of the polarity got associated with a negative connotation. When did it become bad to have a polarity?
Yeah.
Why is it bad to have a green and an orange, not grorange?
Because I know, because I've been there, and I even read some old writing that I did today, and it's not from that long ago, it's from a year ago. And it sounds to me riddled with, I won't say SJW, but political correctness, because I've lived that. And so I'll say we rather than they. We get really scared that anybody's ever going to feel left out. And because we are social sciences, we're socialist leaning, we're psychologists, we're trauma informed, and we as individuals left out as children, we're scared that any adult will be left out as a like it's. I know it's sick. I know it's fucked up, but I can get there. I can be like, okay, but obviously at the same time, I'm like, how the fuck are we going to gut the fish and heal the bleeding pussy wound before everyone dies if we're worrying about shit that doesn't fucking matter, or if we're so worried about everybody's individual precious feelings? You can't run a society like that. You just can't.
Okay.
I made my own head hurt saying that. Right here.
Yeah. Like, okay, hold on.
But
okay.
I am that way. I that is the core of me, is that way. The core of me is like, I'm kind of a bit like that, because I don't want people to get hurt. But I also would really like it if we all had a nice dry home to be in and food. I kind of think that's a higher priority.
Okay, so if I can come up with some sort of reason, it's because each category comes with limitations, and we want to have everything. And we need everything all the time, all of it. We can't just be okay with being restricted with one thing. We have to be like all of it. Like, we can't have any disadvantage. We need everything.
From a purely psychological point of view, if you take like what you've just said as a group and you try and figure it out, like, because psychology, obviously that's sociology's job, is to deal with the groups more. But for psychologists, we would say, okay, that is an individual, take the group as an individual, is a pure codependent, is a strongly codependent human being, probably highly emotionally dysregulated, probably has some borderline personality disorder, and they are frightened that if one person is left out, that they, the original person A, will go into a huge emotional flashback. I'm fucking terrified that if I leave one person behind, I'm going to feel flooded with toxic shame and guilt and all this shit. And so the codependency issue I myself am battling through with, and I'm trying to help other people battle through with, is we have to accept that we can't save everyone. And it's not a jobs thing.
Let me try to simplify what you said there, because I think I got it. So when I see a group of people leave some dude out or leave some girl out, whatever,
right,
I project that I don't ever want to be that person being left out.
Right.
So I'm going to try to prevent and force that group to accept that guy or girl that got left out.
Yes.
Because I might be the one left out one day, and I never want to experience that.
And one layer, yes, and one layer deeper, you're trying to save yourself as a child in that person. And you may choose a group and stand in front of them that you have nothing to do with. They might not be your culture, they might not be your ethnicity, they might not be your sexuality, but you'll just internalize the idea they're lost children. So it's patronizing. Of course, it's enormously fucking condescending. They're lost children, but I can save them and then I'll feel okay. And it's like, well, no, you won't. You can save you can think you've saved. No adult really saves another adult. It's just not possible unless you're a firefighter or a soldier. If you could save 1,000 people, you'll still be anxious. You'll still feel like shit because you're traumatized. And this, what you're trying to do is coming from trauma, and everything we do that comes from trauma gets really sticky really, really quickly. We're back to coercion of will, the perversion of intent, and black magic. Codependent people create a fertile breeding ground for really dark things to happen with our kindness.
What exactly do you think?
I don't think that narcissism and psychopathy would flourish the way that it is now if we all weren't such a bunch of fucking pussies. We can't live like this. We can't be such fucking babies. It's not realistic. You have to say no. I have to let you, Pierre, be an adult. If you're struggling with something, I can listen, I can help, but I can't cross that boundary between one man and another man, one adult, another adult, and take from you that which is yours. That will hurt you, and it can corrupt you. I'm not saying that codependents breed narcissists,
but it enables them.
For sure, it enables them. And remember, there's two parts of creating narcissism. One is abuse, telling the narcissist they're a piece of shit, and nothing they do is good enough, and they're demonized. And the other one is telling them they're wonderful, and nothing they do is wrong because they're perfect angelic beings. Who's doing the second thing? Who's doing the second thing? It has to be the codependents among us. It has to be the kind amongst us who are doing that. People like me do that. Enablers. People who will never say no.
Okay, I'm thinking. So as we all know, the family unit is just imploded. It doesn't really exist anymore because of many, many, many factors, and people don't even want families anymore. We have extended the family tree to strangers on social media in replacement of that. Now, I want to know your hypothesis. Hypothetically, if everyone had a decent, caring, stable family unit or a group of people, would that level of social media level codependency exist with a bunch of strangers? I'm sorry to be slippery. I don't think you can get somebody who wasn't ignored in childhood addicted to cocaine. I don't think you can get somebody who was raised by good enough parents in a good enough community, who was shown time, shown attention, permitted to be the little animal that they are and to grow into an individuated human being, not a perfect philosopher, king or queen, but a human addicted to alcohol or addicted to whatever the fuck you want. So my answer is, to the question would be, if they're raised in a good enough family unit and raised in a good enough community, maybe I'm an idealistic optimist. I just don't think
What would you need social media for? We're lonely. We're fucking
Yes.
hurt. We're lonely and we're confused. If there wasn't loneliness and there wasn't jealousy, you'd never open the fucking app in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, the topic of incest keeps coming up here, but maybe the disgust that comes with that concept is necessary to prove how bad this shit is. Because I almost look at it now that we're having this discussion. The codependent interactions on social media are really family-like and ancestral, but at the same time, really pornographic and really romantic at all in one. And you're mixing all of these things that you would never do with your family, but it seems as though, first of all, we use it for like all like mental health things, and at the same time posting our booty pics in the next story, or maybe under a caption of the same thing. And we're looking at a bunch of strangers to fulfill like, oh, they care for me, and I'm going to care for you. Here's some advice here, and I'm going to take the advice. I'm going to be here for you here. And then you're going to FaceTime some fucking stranger doing some booty shit. You know, it's all mixed. These things shouldn't be together at all.
How could you expect people to not be confused and hurt and addicted? I mean, it's just not fair. It's just not fair. What's happening is just we're not being given a fucking chance. And all of this, we've said this in previous podcasts, but I'm going to say it again. This is progress, by the way, kids. This is success. We won. We won. Yeah, we finally got to the cities that were full of food. Here we are.
You posted a great meme, and summary was like, yes, we won, and that's exactly the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because we're now the one that I do you mean the one I posted today about
No,
helping?
it was a few days ago as a meme, and it was like, oh, it was a dad going, hey son, are you winning? And then the kid goes in some crazy existentialist rant about that.
Yes, because we got into arable farming, and then from arable farming we all learned to read and write, and then so on and so forth, all the way through to Netflix and Pornhub. Yeah, we won. We've been dreaming about this. Think about this. Our ancestors dreamt. They created stories of cities with light and running water and food, because we were hungry all the time. We were cold all the time, or we were too fucking hot, or we've been bit by fucking snakes or wolves. This is heaven. Yeah. Well done, everyone. You got to Elysium. Look at fucking hellscape this is. This is it. This is winning. This is us. That we won. We won a long time. We went from, as far as you and I are concerned, everybody watching this, we won a long time ago. We won a long time ago. You'd probably say about 3,000-4,000 years ago, things got a lot better for humanity. 4,000-5,000 years ago, a lot better. And in the last 100 years,
the last 100. Yeah, right. And you like, oh, easy for you to say privileged, blah blah blah. Anybody who says the word privilege is a part of that group. You know, it's the least amount of war that it's ever been. It's the most peaceful time with the most amount of resources, where our problem is surplus and plastic pollution. It's excess. It's not the lack of. And we don't know what to do with that surplus. Because, I mean, imagine spending how long has humanity been around? We spent that much fucking time to get to a point where we have surplus as a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, they really don't know. Maybe it's 250,000 years. Humanity is as we see it now. Not that long, relatively speaking. Some people think an awful lot longer, but yeah, as we are now, really, it's probably about 250, somewhere between 150 and 250,000 years. The thing is, like, not to go off onto a whole other tangent, but like, it's happened so quickly that I find it deeply suspicious. Deeply suspicious.
Aliens.
Like, aliens, come on.
Aliens.
Gotta be the fucking aliens over here.
You know, to put things in perspective, not to downplay all the trouble that's happening with the world and stuff and the current situation, obviously that's terrible in its own right. But if we frame it in a view, most people, if you didn't have information about it, you could live your life unbothered. You could still have your toilets. You can still have your Wi-Fi. You can still eat. You can still have a hobby. You still have free time. There's just people you can talk to. What more did a human being want 300 years ago than just that?
I mean, probably what you've just described is in excess of what the average human would want. You're probably talking about what nobility would want.
Yeah.
I mean, just the fact that, sorry to be crude, but like the fact you don't have to interact with your own excrement. You poo and it goes away. You don't even have to look at the fucker. Wow. 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 Your toilet breaks, you're fucking furious. Somebody comes and fixes it. You don't have to look at your own poo poo. But that's new. That's a recent thing. Like the explosion I think is really doing something to us. I think it's really, really melting our brains. And I think, we can get through it. We've got through all kinds of crazy things. It would be amazing if the one thing that wiped out humanity was success. After all the fucking genocide and ice ages and famines and plagues, then finally we made it. Like then they fucking died. No, that I don't think that's the outcome.
And maybe symbolically, that is the issue. We do not look or smell our own poopy anymore. Yeah. We are not reminded of where we came from.
You're actually making a Slavoj Žižek point there. You're really? It's a pure, 100% Slavoj Žižek point that like this metaphorically is not just toilet humor. It's significant. We need to think about that, like, because we are so disconnected and alienated from the animal that we are. Where is your food coming from? When it passes through you, where does it go? You don't know. Your food is delivered by a dude in a fucking motorcycle helmet who's trying to get through a fucking degree in accounting. You never saw who made it. You don't know the farm it came from. You have no fucking idea. And then when it passes through you, have no idea where it goes. You're just disconnected. You're just a floating
That's fucking
mouth.
hilarious.
You're
floating mouth. That's fucking hilarious. It's pipe. So true. You don't know where the food is, where it's made. You don't even know the name of the restaurant. You don't know the name of the guy giving you the fucking food. You don't even know where it goes after it passes through you. It's completely separated.
And we wonder why we feel the way that we do. We're disconnected from everything. It's not, I mean, at the very least, I would say it's not it's not healthy. But the answer to some of these problems would be to come back to some kind of semblance of humility and some kind of semblance of an appreciation for simplicity, and just to look at the animal that we are. Like, what did we evolve for? We evolved to communicate. We evolved to build networks. We evolved to speak to each other, but not like this. Not like this. This is not what we fucking evolved for.
You know, what's interesting is that the people that are closest to me at the moment, all of them, including you and me, are all going under massive maturation and just transformation. Right. And the conclusion for all these other people as well, and us, is simplification. I've noticed is just to simplify. Yeah, I've done it myself. I'm seeing you do it. These other people in my life, they're waking up to, and one of them turns to family, and they were never a person that would value such a thing so overtly, but now being one of the main priorities. I don't need a 6-figure salary. Maybe I just focus on family. I'm like, that's fucking great. Do I need all of Flip Lord life with all the algorithms and the thing? I kind of have a punching bag and maybe some VR. I'm just saying, because it's an extension of that. But that's pretty much what I value. And you obviously have a simplified version of what you like too. But just cutting out a little bit. Like, I still am going pretty surplus. I guess that's the lack of a better. I've only cut maybe 30%. And it's way better. Just that 30 away.
Yeah, I think one of the good things about the experience I've just been to is it's hammered home points and made them visceral and physical, as you know, because I got beaten up. But let's not talk about that. And it became undeniable. And it's like, you can't keep turning away from this now. On the other side of it, what do you want? And then you just have to stick to that. You just have to live it. And that would be boundaries. That would be a discipline. That would be sticking to a certain mode of being in the world and just not letting not letting people get inside your head, and not letting people don't let the world sell you on its complexity. Nobody is out there knowing a ton more than you, having a much more wonderful life than you. There's no, I stole this from Jack Donovan. He's a writer I speak to. There's no there. There's no there. Forget that. Primitive peoples knew this. There's just this. There's just this, like my body, my space. There's what I can touch here now. Out there, all this, all that. Don't get sucked into the ether, man. Don't get sucked into that fucking Maya, that illusion.
That is a great point, because I was trying to rationalize complexity, okay? And it's going to be complex to try to talk about it here. But because, for example, to put it in my own experience here, I got this new VR game that's fucking amazing. I found it a way to hook up to the computer, and you're a gladiator. Like you're in an arena, you're swinging swords around, you can slow motion the thing. So you slice this dude, you grab the shield that flies over, you hit the guy to the side, and you play out this warrior thing. The act of that in this game mode is quite simplified in a weird way, but it's also complex through the medium of virtual reality and all of these things. Even so there's layers of complexity and simplification, but I think the complexity that's bad is what you were explaining, when your focus and attention is outward in Maya. Like what's a direct example of that? Like the social media interactions with them on each other, and you're dealing with abstract concepts with terminologies that blah 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 blah. And even though I'm in VR, the act of swinging the sword to get contact to a shield is really simple, but it's in a complex medium. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I can draw a distinction there, and I can actually plug a course that I just made as well, which is on disassociation. I just redid the Stop Disassociation course. When you're in VR and you're a gladiator, yes, there is complexity, but you're associated, because your body and your brain is experiencing the dude coming at you with the trident and the net as a threat. So you have to move within what you think, what your mind is tricked into thinking as your body. So you're associated. When you spend time in VR in disassociated space, in concepts that are then battling each other, that are toxic, that you wrestle with, it's just, you're going to get mentally ill. And I would just say that I'd stand in front of a psychotherapist and say that this is going to cause mental illness. I would stand in front of anybody. I'd stand in front of a council of psychiatrists and say, I am 100% certain that excessive usage of this medium in that way will make a person mentally ill. As in, when they come off it, and first of all, they're wasting way too much time online, way too much fucking time. When they come off it, they will struggle with major mental health issues, the big ones like anxiety, depression, derealization, and a turbulent sense of self. How do you maintain a sense of self if you're fucking scrolling Instagram every day? You really think that's not damaging your sense of who you are and where you are in the world? It's poison. It's corroding you and who you think you are in the world. And now I sound like an old man ranting at people.
Me too, man. I aged way too fast in a year. But I think to add on to what you're saying, to clarify, if the actions that you're doing in your life, especially on the internet, are removing your mind from your body, that's when it's bad. And it's hard to recognize that.
Talk spiritually. Okay, here's drugs, here's alcohol, here's cocaine. You go talk to an ayahuasca shaman, or you talk to a Native American elder. What will they tell you? Oh, your spirit goes out of your body? Okay, a spirit will come in. And then when your spirit comes back into your body, now you're sharing it. What does social media do? Takes your spirit, consciousness out of your body. And it's fucking full of demons. It's fucking full of demons that are possessing you. You're suckling at the devil's teats right there. And you're like, I don't really feel very good afterwards. You're probably fucking possessed. You're fucking possessed because you're out your fucking body. You should be in here protecting it.
Like, really think about the amount of young girls or boys, doesn't matter, that would have never showed their bare booty online, who do it for a living now because of social media. They got possessed by a specific demon that feeds off of that type of booty, you know? And, to go back to the VR discussion real quick, because I'm thinking about why I specifically only play boxing or this gladiatorial sword fighting thing.
Mm.
I realized that these practices are really hard to access in real life, but
Yeah.
they put you in a place that's more primitive, that's more of the moment, more visceral, without the risk of actually getting your head chopped off or sparring and getting brain damage. And as much as I would love to actually spar in real life, I just know better, like, hey, that's probably going to be really bad for me long term. But the sensation, even though it's through a complex medium, it provides that visceral immediacy, unlike with other things on social media that removes your awareness away from how you view yourself. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't change, like, if I should, get fucking lip injections by playing these games. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. No. No. No.
there's a difference,
Yeah.
I think.
100%. 100%. Speaking of being associated and moving the body, I do have a gym date that I must go on soon. Should we take a couple of questions before I go and pump the
Sure.
guns?
Of course, of course.
Of course, let's do it. Give us a question.
Mhm. Yeah, man, dude, this game is amazing. It's like when everything is in slow-mo, it's almost like this weird brutal Tai Chi. You have to like move the arm out of the way to take the thing out of your kind of.
Now you're seeing the Tai Chi is relevant. It's all there. The movements
Yeah,
are just
man.
slowed down. Once you start moving, especially if you're forced to slow down, Tai Chi starts looking an awful lot more relevant.
Yes, it makes sense now. It makes sense, man.
Yeah, there's a guy in the UK. Once the world opens up, called Neil Rosiak, and it might be worth just going and doing a seminar with him. We should go once. He's a really good dude, but he can show you the application. So when you're seeing like this, and you're like, what the fuck am I going to do that in a barroom brawl? Like, how the fuck is that?
Yeah,
is that he'll show you. He'll show you where that goes, and you'll be like, damn, okay. Tai Chi's brutal, absolutely fucking brutal.
Okay.
Someone's asking when the new Fliptopia virtual is coming out.
So yes, it is a short film that I'm making that I would love to make a series, but obviously I didn't realize that how much work and mental energy it actually expends. But I showed Richard the first 2 minutes of an action sequence, and it's fucking great.
It's cool as fuck.
Yeah.
It's cool as fuck.
I'm hoping in like maybe a week or two, something like that.
Cool. Any other questions here, guys? Can you say anything, Pierre?
The game is called Swordsman VR or Blade and Sorcery. Those two are crazy.
It's called Pierre's Big Dong.
Mm-hmm. Any question you see?
Burp. Will the stream stay up even after it's over? Yes, absolutely.
Of course, they all are.
Oh, Stacy DeYoung, surrender. Let the universe bring all you need. One versus actively visualizing, manifesting your thoughts. Terrible advice, my friend. Terrible. Exercise your will. Set your boundaries. Set your intention. Control your life. Don't sit back and let the universe bring whatever it wants. The universe has some real fucking evil in it. Don't be passive.
As humans, do we need a Zen mind like of schools? It helps.
Yeah, Zen helps for sure. I need more Zen in my life. God damn. The essence of I used to do Zen meditation in a school when I was a teenager. I was really lucky. It was just down the road from me in Harrowby Road in Birkenhead. And the essence of the meditation, as we were taught it, was the mind should mirror reality without projection or illusion. That's it. There's nothing else. You sit, you breathe, you listen, you feel. When your mind is reflecting everything you can hear and everything you can feel, and you sit and breathe, you are practicing Zen meditation.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was funny. I thought I was a funny guy. I had somebody said something to me, and I had a really funny response. And It was the wrong time, the wrong place, the wrong situation. Sometimes, see, I'm a frustrated stand-up comedian, really.
You're becoming Joker, dude.
That's what it is.
What about restraint as a complement to willpower? I think restraint is still an exercising of will too. And back to martial arts, it's about willing yourself to not use it is probably one of the key principles. Yes.
I 100% agree with what Pierre said. And for me, my exercise of will in my personal life is far more about won't power than willpower, as you say, visceral gravitas. Restraint for me is like a fucking superpower right now. The ability to say, I'm not doing that. That's going to exhaust me. I'm going to be overgiving. Afterwards, I'll be tired and resentful. And I see it and I go, I'm not doing that. That's Richard's superpower in 2021 is to go, nah, man, nah, fam, not doing that.
Yo, me too, man. I've been resisting a lot of things in general, and even in elements of like overworking. I know that I can go another 8 hours every day to get the whole movie could be done by now.
Yeah.
But I have learned from my youthful self to take some time and to not do that because it's not good for your brain.
It's not. And you can always burn the engine down to the fumes. And every once in a while, if there's a big project, you might have to. But if you can plan to not do that, you're saving yourself all kinds of unseen problems. You can't even imagine the problems. Like I've lived it 15, 20 times in my life. And because with people who are a bit ADHD, a little bit work addicted, workaholics, we're addicted to I want to get the end result and get it out there and see what the response is. Just be patient. Just be patient.
Yes. So, I mean, I've been just taking a long break, even from streaming for a bit, just to exercise the will of saying no and kind of letting the Zen space take its course.
Yeah. It makes sense to do that for sure. Well, I must go. It's chest.
Okay.
We're doing chest tonight. R.I.P. those pecs. Yay.
All right, my friend. It was lovely talking to you as always.
And to you too, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so very much for your time and for your attention. And we look forward to seeing you all so very, very soon.
Wait, before I close it, did you already close it?
No, we're still going.
Somebody said that I was a manifestation of Naga, a snake spirit, and the tentacle croissant was symbolic of some demon energy. And they're on to us, Richard.
What do you mean? 666. There's no demons, Illuminati.
Have a good night, everybody.